Untie, cut, uncross, dispel, release, let go. In this video, we are going to talk all about calling your energy back to you. And in this video, it's part one, and it's going to cover the who and the why of how to call back your energy to you. This channel is dedicated to women over 40, their health, wellness, and their healing journeys. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Angela Cudger, and I'm the founder of Legacy Holistic Health Institute. I'm also a metaphysician and healer. And so we're going to get into the who and the why of calling your energy back. A lot of people may not know that they have the ability to call back their energy. They have the ability to ask the universe to return to them what was sent out in the direction of something that did not serve them. Now, if you are new to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for spending time with us. And if you find that you like something and it's of value to you, we are building an incredible community of like minded women over 40 who are dedicated to their health, their wellness, and their healing journeys while they're in the space of purposefulness and serving others. So if you like what you see, even if you're not one of those people, stick around, hang with us, and watch some more of the content. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your likes, your shares, and your subscribes. Thank you for kicking it with us every every Wednesday and Friday when videos drop. There's a lot of content coming out, and so I don't want you to miss it. Now, let's go ahead and let's get into the content for today. So the first thing we want to do is we want to understand what vibrational energy is. So everything in the universe vibrates, right? Energy is neither created or destroyed, right? This is kind of a theory of the universe, right? A physics theory, if you will. And so energy is always being transferred. We transfer energy when we talk to people. We transfer energy when we interact with people, when we hug people, when we touch people. Even sometimes when we enter the atmosphere or enter a room, we actually can feel an energy transfer sometimes. A lot of times we can feel when the energy is kind of leaving us in the direction of another person. Sometimes we can actually sense when our energy is being drawn on us. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the signs you want to spot or look at when you think that your energy is kind of going in the wrong direction. And then the other thing about vibrational energy is that the human being vibrates the fastest in the entire universe. So we are always moving. It's like when we pick up an activity or pick up a thing, we have everything in us to make that thing go. And so when we stop or when we have other people instill doubts, that vibrational energy picks up that and it plows it forward, almost like the energy of a rocket ship. So just think, everything about you, all of your cells are always buzzing with life and the energy of creation. So when you allow thoughts that come in that are doubtful, that are shameful, that are, not in the direction of your purpose, or you don't know what your purpose is, you are putting out all of this energy, all of this rocket ship power, if you will, towards that thing. Likewise, if you're a person who wants to give love and receive love, if you're someone that's on a healing journey, all of these things also can project the same rocket ship force, rocket ship energy towards the thing that you want. So let's talk a little bit about, now that you understand what vibrational energy is and everything that we're around, we're really picking up the live wire from that thing. And so the next thing I want you to be aware of is, well, how do you identify what a crossed energy is? Okay. So this is something that I want you to start looking at things with discernment, especially if you're a woman and you're connected to your feminine energy. I want you to definitely start making sure that you understand when your energy feels crossed up. So here are some examples of that. When you feel like the easiest way to think about this is when you feel resistance. When you are asked to do something, or when something is said around you that you immediately don't agree with, or that there's this stirring inside of you that says, it causes you to pause, whether it's in your thought or whether it's in your speech, but it causes you to actually pause, right? And so this automatically brings up just this little bit of this sense of resistance. We want to start being aware of these resistances in our universe and in the energy around us. And so this is how when we go against, because remember, You got this rocket ship force energy heading in the direction of whatever's coming into your path. So when something comes into your path and it meets resistance to your thoughts or to how you truly are or how you truly operate it, you everything in the universe is asking you to pause and reevaluate this thing. Now, if you're someone who gives a lot, you're an empath, you're a person who is on the vibration of being loving and giving and always kind and wanting to be seen as this kind, amazing, nurturing person, which usually is most women, especially women over 40. And so we need to be aware of the invitation that God, that the universe is giving us, to then check ourselves, to then pause and say, okay, how is this sitting with my spirit? How is this sitting with my soul? How is this sitting with my body? And so we want to make sure that we are understanding that, okay, if I go against what my natural feeling is here, knowing there is resistance, I don't speak up about what it is that has caused resistance. I don't ask questions for clarity of what's causing the resistance. I just go with the flow and I go along to just get along. When that happens, we immediately create what looks like or what can manifest as a crossed or tied up energy. It means that I'm being taken in the direction of something that I know doesn't serve me. I've energetically felt that there's a resistance. And instead of listening to that or asking clarifying questions so that I can make a decision for my energy, for my spirit, for my person, instead, I'm going to go along with this. That's when energy starts to get crossed up. Now, the longer we go along with this, whether it's in a relationship, whether it is on a job, whether it is in a friendship, whether it is between a mother and a child, the longer we go along with this energy, the deeper that cross is and the deeper that tie is. Now, these crosses and these ties can also happen in situations like that are quick and fleeting. So the greatest example I can give to that is like a one night stand. People tend to think that, oh, it was just this thing and that was it and nothing else mattered, not knowing that they actually picked up a spiritual cross or some kind of spiritual tie. And that tie, that resistance, then plays out in every other decision they make in their lives. And they can track the evidence of when they lost their purpose, of when they lost their motivation, of when their energy shifted, right? They can start to track the evidence of it and tying it back to when this cross or this tie may have actually occurred. And so we want to make sure that we are aware. Awareness is a huge thing here. So, how do we know how do we know which ones need to be uncrossed, which ones need to be untied? Well, the first thing we want to do is make sure that we're looking at something like meditation and visualization so that we know where these crosses and these ties have happened. And then the goal here is to, in understanding these crosses and these ties, is to say, you know what, I get to identify this thing, but I also get the opportunity to root this thing out, and I get to then decide how this thing is going to work for me going forward. Is this something that I'm ready to release? Now, in part two of this series, I am going to show you how to actually do a ritual bath to uncross, to cut, to untie these kinds of connections. And this is a journey when someone, has something tied up or crossed up, right? Or there's some kind of soul tie, right? And that means there is an agreement, right? Because when we go along to get along, we agree with whatever resistance is coming into our lives. We are in full agreement that this is not what I want, but I'm going to go along with it anyway because I think it's going to change, or I think it's going to get better, or I think I'm going to be the one to fix it. Let me tell you something. Everything in the universe is fearfully and wonderfully made, including you. That means in all of its glory, in all of its existence, it is already made perfect. It is man, woman who decides then that what God has created or what God has deemed already perfect as something that carries imperfections. So we should never, ever be looking to fix anyone. We should never spend our time on something or someone that says, I'm only, look at my potential. Yeah, go realize your potential and then we can get connected. Only then will you become the thing, the person that God needs you to become so that you can live out your fearfully and wonderfully made life, right? You are made perfect by living out your purpose. You become that thing. So when resistance comes up in you, listen to it. Listen to it. It literally is divine protection in a lot of cases. So never go along to just get along and there are some people that have stayed in relationships, in connections that they know will never ever ever serve anything concerning their life. And it's cool, it's good that we need to make sure that we never confuse commonalities for compatibility and alignment, purpose compatibility. And what I mean by that is you can find friends and groups of people, family members, people you date with the same things in common as you. You like golf, you like certain restaurants, you like brunches, you like certain kinds of jewelry, you like certain kinds of movies, you like certain kinds of events and things. These are commonalities. That doesn't make someone be in alignment with your purpose. When we're talking about the compatibility of alignment with purpose, we are talking about people that preserve you, that assist in your soul's preservation on this journey. They understand your purpose and they hold you accountable to it. That's compatibility. That's alignment. I mean, we all love golf. We can all love golf. We can all love Scrabble or Uno, right? So commonalities are not compatibility with purpose. And I think that's the biggest first mistake people make. That wow, we feel the same way. Wow, we like the same things. Wow, we share the same opinions. Well, let's be friends and see where it goes. Let me get to know you and see where it goes, right? Because you're going to want to know whether people at this age, you're going to want to know who's oak tree for you, who's got roots in the ground for you, right? And so when we're talking about this, we're talking about meditation and visualization of people, places, things that have never served us, that at some point we felt a sense of resistance and we did not listen to that first nudge from God, from the universe. And so this gives us an idea to start. Once you realize what things have done that, start to track back in your mind when the resistance started with this. When did the resistance start? Did I get an opportunity to say no to this? Did I miss my opportunity to to receive clarification on this? Did I ask the right questions concerning this so that I could make the right decision for my life? Right? These are all things that we've got to start asking ourselves, right? And let me tell you something. This is like a muscle. This meditation, this visualization is like a muscle. The more we use it, the more keen we become, the more easy it is for us to do it, right? And so meditation and visualization gives us the clarity that we need to determine if this is something we need to move on from. And then the next thing you want to do is make a plan to call back your energy, right? So there's a few ways to do this. And in part two, I'm going to talk a little bit about the bath and I'm going to talk a little bit about the letter. So for those of you who say, I don't have a tub, I only own a shower, no fuss. There is plenty of ways to do this and layer these techniques onto one another so that you're getting the results that you're looking for. And we'll talk a little bit about what to do if you're not allowing yourself to let go, because part of it is about us being willing to let it go and being willing to say, okay, I'm going to return to sender what no longer belongs to me. And then I'm going to call back into my energetic space all of the vibrational energy that has gone out in the direction or in alignment with something that was completely resistant to what my purpose is. I'm calling that back to me. And when it gets back to me, God, here's the direction I want you to point it in. Point it straight at my purpose. Point it straight at a passion and a fire that burns within me. Right? You get to decide. That energy is never created or destroyed. You get to decide where it is projected to because it belongs to you. And it's like a currency you can call back. Too many people walk around defeated and depleted because of what they have sent out in the wrong direction. Too many of us do that. And we call it burnout. We think we can fix it with a vacation. We think that we can change it by making a new friend. We think that we can shift it by having more fun. When in reality, the tank is still empty. You go on that vacation with an empty tank. You make another new friend with an empty tank. We try to do all of these things when the simplest, easiest solution is to simply say, I want my energy back. I get it back. I'm calling it back. Bring it to me fulminantly. I want all of what belongs to me. What is divinely, what is mine by divine right. I've come to share it with the planet. I've not come here for martyrdom. I'm not here to be depleted. I'm here to share. I'm here to give. I'm here to provide solutions for humanity. I'm not here to be depleted. In equal or greater exchange, will they give back to me? Right? You have a right to do this. And so you want to make sure that you are using some kind of ceremony, some kind of ritual, something that, and rituals cement in the mind, right? Ritual cement in the mind and gets the mind and all of the cells buzzing in the direction of what's coming back to you. So you can look at the word ritual or ceremony in any kind of way, but think of it as a prayer, a supplication, an anticipation of calling back what actually belongs to you. That's really what it is. And then you're cementing this, like for example, with prayer, you cement this by getting on your knees, right? You ground yourself into this by doing these specific things, praying over the water, right? This is how you ground yourself into it so that all of your cellular matter is aware of what is happening for you. Now that we understand how to call back our energy, the next thing that we want to be aware of is we want to prepare ourselves to let go. And so, in preparing to let these things go, we want to understand clearly who the who is. So, anyone that's in your space that has consistently created an environment that creates so much resistance in you, there are so many things between you that you don't agree, or you've sent out a lot of loving energy. This works really, really well in old relationships where, and the way you know that you need to do some work around this is when you're looking at a relationship in the similar category as this old one. When we were talking about the who, when you're looking at a relationship in a similar category, whether it's having another child, whether it's remarrying, whether it is finding new friends, right, or rooting ourselves into a new friendship group. When we're looking at this, if old thought patterns resurface, then it is a sign that you probably need to let go of you probably need to let go and call back your energy from the old relationships, and you have the ability to do that. I actually use this practice with every relationship that ends up completing itself, or going through the cycle of completion with me. And one of the things that I can say is, when I do this, it makes me more vibrant, it makes me more healthier. It kind of puts this, because I'm clear at where I want the direction of the energy to go, kind of puts this plowing energy right in front of me, where I'm being pushed, right? Instead of feeling like I'm pulling. And so you want to definitely be aware of how to use this energy and how to redirect this energy back towards you, and where that energy is going to flow, where it's going to go, and what you're going to do with it. Okay. Now, if you're someone who says, well, I could call it back, but I don't really know what to do with it. I don't really know what my purpose is. I'm reevaluating my purpose. That's okay. There are actually a lot of women in their 40s at this point that are reevaluating their purpose and reevaluating how they just feel in general about their life and where they want the second half of their life to go. This is so key for women over 40, because we're on what would be the second half of our lives, most of us, right? We're definitely rooted into the second half, whether you're in your 40s, 50s, whatever. You are already on the second half of your life. And it's been said that we use this part of our life to get rid of, cast off things that were placed on us in the first 7 years of our lives. So it's not uncommon, especially around this time of the year. If you're watching this video in the fall is made for casting off. That's why the trees shed their leaves, right? And then 2023 is a 7 year. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 is a 7 year. And so when it comes to it being a 7 year is all about introspection, spiritual growth. Where is my soul going? What do I want to make of myself? Let me reevaluate my life. The other thing that happens in the fall is what we like to call eclipse season. So we've got a solar eclipse coming up as well, and that's going to kick off the eclipse season for the fall. Eclipses come around energetically for what would feel like soul surgery. It is clipping away old habits, things, wounds, traumas. It is clipping away all of these things, but we have to decide that we want these things clipped away so that we can move forward with a sense of ease and grace and live right into our purpose and live it out, man. Stretch yourself, go out to the edge of you, I say. And so we want to make sure that we are understanding what it means to let go. And when it means something to us, we can properly make the preparations. So in preparing, you want to make sure you choose a day where you want to choose a day and a method. So you're looking at what day of the week you want to perform either your ritual bath, your ceremonial prayer, your letter to the universe calling back. You want to make sure that you're doing that. You also want to make sure that you are looking at your day, not just your day, but you're aligning this time with a full moon if you can. So a full moon is also how the universe energetically allows you to let go and shed layers too. So you want to make sure that whatever your ceremony is going to be, you align it with the moon, and that you layer kind of these pieces to make sure that it's being done properly, and that your ceremony is getting the attention that it needs, right? Or it's getting the all of the energy that it needs towards this. Now, you also want to make sure that in preparing for this, that you're clear on what your intentions are. So please understand that you cannot send ill will to the other person. That's not how this works. This is only used to control and call back what you have put out. Now, you can send back the energy that they sent to you or that they exchanged with you. That is called a return to sender. You can certainly do that. Or you can simply do an uncross, untie, and call back what you put out and direct what you put out coming back in to where it needs to go. So we want to make sure that we are understanding how all of this works. Okay. No one has the right to pull energy from you without giving something back in return. This ceremony or this type of prayer is also not used to take from people what you did not give. It doesn't work that way. Even if you think they deserve some kind of ill will, no. This ceremony, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my results. This ceremony, this type of thing, actually gets you immediate and great results when it's done from a place of love, when it's done from a place of calling back for empowerment, and when it's done from a place of compassion for the other person who may not have even known that it's what they were putting out. And so we just want to be aware of all of these pieces before we decide on what we want to do. So, in my last few minutes, I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about my experience with this and why I started doing this. So in 2018, so I was actually married for 12 years. I have one son. My son is 16 years old. He actually just got his learner's permit. I'm so proud of him. He needs to get his license now too. So just real quick, transparent moment. So indulge me just a little bit. And so he is 16 years old. He's almost 17 years old. And I was married to his father for 12 years of his life. And so I knew within the first 6 months of meeting this person that we weren't going to work out. I knew it. Everything in my being said run. Within the first few months of knowing this person, I got pregnant, right? And this person, instead of going away or thinking it was just we're just dating, was like, we should get married. Like we should get married. We should make a real home for our family. Although I understand this, and although I know that person was well intended, I also know that that person was not prepared to have a family, and that person had no intentions truly of putting down roots. And it proved me right. I knew by the first 6 months that it was not going to work. Now, from there, had our son, and from there, I remember spending so many nights by myself. The day that I gave birth, I was home within like 24 hours. I was still now I was very healthy back then. I was 27 when I got pregnant, 28 when I had my son. So our birthdays are close, right? So I had him 3 days before my birthday. He was born on the 8th of July. I was born on the 11th of July. But anyway, fast forward, even on the day he was born, his dad was there, but then he went out that night clubbing, drinking, hanging, you know, early 30s. It's to be expected, late 20s, early 30s is what his age was. And I would just sit at home. I eventually called my mom. My mom lived down the street, a couple miles down the road. Hey, mom, can you just come sit with me? My mom had 11 children. So if anything comes up, I know my mama knows. So my mom came to sit with me and she's like, where is he? I was like, Mom, I have no idea. He's just not here. I eventually divorced for abandonment and chased him all over this planet trying to find him to sign my papers. Right now, people say, well, there's several things you could have done. You could have went to counseling. We tried that. He walked out of the counseling sessions eventually and just stopped going. I don't need that. It's not for me. These people don't know what they're talking about. They shouldn't be in our business. It's taboo, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward, I knew that this person, you know, all the time that I stayed, and this is why it's so important that when you feel that resistance, you walk away. All that time that I stayed, I built up anger for that person. I built up a heavy resentment for this person. I would dream about this person's life coming to an end, making them feel as bad as I was feeling when they were never there. I have moved across state lines with my son to take jobs in other industries. Like when I finished medical school, I signed on with a private practice in anesthesia in Texas. They moved me and my son to Texas, right? And I was still married on paper. Do you see how foul this looks? But I knew within 6 months it was never going to work. I knew I had that resistance and I chose to stay. So, part of this ritual, part of this ceremony, a big part of this healing is owning your part in it. Own your stuff, especially if you're a woman over 40. You too old not to own your stuff, baby. Own your stuff, own your part in it, and say, okay, I sat in agreement with this and I let my soul conspire to continue this treatment of me, knowing full well that there was not a reciprocal energetic exchange. I knew that it wasn't. And I decided to stay anyway. Some of you are still overstaying your welcome at jobs. Some of you are still rolling with girlfriend groups and you know they talking about you. You know you don't belong with those women. You know you don't belong with those men. You know you don't belong living in that place. And you stay for whatever reason. Most times we stay out of fear of shame. I know for me, it was fear of shame, fear of feeling like, all my girlfriends had husbands and kids. I was the last one to get pregnant and get married. So that weighed on me. And when I did, and when I took a job, they all dropped me like a sack of potatoes. Didn't even call, didn't even check, none of that stuff. So there's a harboring of resentment, a mounting of resentment. Because remember, all of your energy is moving in that direction now, like a rocket ship. You're taking off in the space of anger, resentment, and you're casting the energetic vibration, the energetic signal of more people to come in and mistreat you, more people to come in and abandon you, more people to come in and not give you that great sense of worth, not empower you. Can't sit. You can't stay. The moment you feel resentment, the moment you feel resistance, cut ties. Call, get to ask some questions for clarity, but be clear on what your stance is and move and go. Get to a yes, get to a no, and go. But do not sit in the space of resistance and just let it rock on, as my grandma would say. Right? Make sure it's in alignment with the direction of your purpose and where you want to go. And so when I finally took some time, when I finally did this ritual, when I finally did this ritual, I'm going to tell you something. It was like a miracle because I took some time to own my stuff before I did this ritual, before I learned about it. And he would just escape trying to sign my papers. I called all of his friends. Of course, they're going to cover for him, right? But I will say, I said, I won't do this in the space of tangible things when I can do this in the spiritual realm. When I know that there are ancestors, there are angels, there are guides, there is God Almighty who sees all of this and knows that I deserve better, And I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm done with the resentment. I'm done with all those things. And so for me, it was about then saying, okay, let me go on a healing journey for myself emotionally so that then all of my energy is moving towards a positive direction when I actually do this ceremony. And I'm gonna tell you something. When I did, that was the first time when I'm telling you, oh my God, I tell you, my life changed. You cannot freaking imagine. My life changed drastically. My money changed. My wisdom was unlocked. Woo! Honey, listen, it's not worth it. I call mine back. I know where I wanted to go, straight to the bank, right? When I finally did this, I was literally bankrupt and destitute. And I was like, I'm gonna heal myself, and then I'm gonna heal the rest of the energy around me. And then when I call this back, I'm gonna call it back to be directed in the way of wisdom so that I can serve other people. And when I tell you, when I did this ceremony, that was the first time I had a 6-figure month. Now I've had 6-figure days. I used to make 6 figures a year. My life changed drastically. I could solve problems that I never even thought to solve. I could see foolishness coming a mile away. It wasn't perfect, but I definitely got better at seeing it coming. And my mental clarity on what my purpose was showed up. My son saw me differently. My son said, "Oh, you move different, mama." Everything changed. Everything changed. There is a sense of resilience over myself and over my life. There's a knowingness that everything is set up for me to win. I don't have to second guess myself. When people, now granted, there's been some pickup, things back and forth that I've needed to say, let me sit on this for a little bit before I make a decision. And then I get to a decision and say, okay, I have the clarity I need. Now I'm making this decision. Right. And you just get better at it. But the reality of it is the emotional healing has to take place so that all of your vibration is on a different level emotionally. You cannot do this ritual while you're angry. You cannot do this when you're sad, when you're depressed. That is not the direction you want this to go in. Or you can put a bath in front of this, a ceremony in front of this that does not include the other person, but that only includes your healing. And we'll talk about that in part 2. But you want to get clear on the who and the why you are doing this, or the what you are doing this for. Where do you want this energy to go? Listen, I hope you got something so amazing out of this video. For those of you who are new here, please take the opportunity to subscribe.
Be sure to hit the subscribe button and make sure that you're staying abreast of everything on our channel, and be sure to turn on your notifications so that you know when we post new videos.
Be sure to share this video out with your community. And if you truly liked it and you're new here, please stick around, subscribe, turn on your notifications as well. It lets the algorithm on YouTube know that you want to see more of this content and that this is a relevant channel. And I would really truly appreciate it. You know that I do, you guys. I'm trying to get this channel to a point where we can reach millions of women, you guys. And I know that we can do it. I know that all of us together can make a massive difference on the planet. Listen, I never take the role of teacher lightly. It is an honor sharing time and space with you. Love and light, beautiful.